I think it's cool to study the lives of very successful people from throughout history. I don't think that's very unique of me. It seems like a very common thing actually for us to try and understand what made, exceptional people exceptional. I think it's a deep-seated human desire to want to leave an impact that far outlasts our time on this earth. However, this whole concept of studying people's lives and trying to emulate them can be a very slippery slope, but we will come back to that a little bit later. I'm currently living in Milan right now, and this year marks 500 years since Leonardo da Vinci was doing his thing in Italy, and so I'm seeing his face and his name absolutely everywhere. And so it occurred to me it might be interesting to try his daily routine. I mean, the guy was a genius. Clearly he was doing something right, so I think there's a good chance I'll learn something from this whole experience. But here's the thing, I was doing some research about this, and it turns out his daily routine was ridiculous. And so I'm telling you right now, I'm giving this a very low probability chance of actually being successful, and I think you're gonna understand why in a second. A lot of famous people throughout history have had kind of strange sleep habits. Charles Dickens was famous for always sleeping with his head facing north because he believed that if he aligned himself with the Earth's magnetic fields, it would boost creativity. But what Leonardo da Vinci did was a lot more extreme than that. He's well known for doing what is known as polyphasic sleep. More specifically, the Uberman sleep cycle, which is basically a 20-minute nap every 4 hours, which equates to a grand total of 2 hours per day. 2 hours of sleep per day. This cannot possibly go well, okay? The main benefits to this seem to be that, first of all, you have way more time awake. Let's say, for example, you live to the age of 72 and you sleep 8 hours a night. That would turn out to be 24 years of your life sleeping. But if you do this Uberman sleep cycle and only sleep 2 hours a day, you win back 18 of those years, or 3/4 of the time, assuming you started from the day you were born, which would not be the case. But anyway, you get the idea. Another one of the major benefits that I was reading about is that human beings seem to go through a short boosted phase after sleep of productivity and creativity and focus. So in theory, if you're taking 6 naps throughout the day, you're maximizing the amount of time that you're in this state. In theory, Da Vinci is said to have done something very similar to this, about 15 or 20 minutes every 4 hours. And he did this apparently for years of his life, believe it or not. Let me be clear, there is really not a lot of research showing that polyphasic sleep is better than monophasic sleep, which is basically just sleeping at night. So do not try this at home. Or if you do not blame me. Instead, allow yourself to be entertained by my probable descent into hell. Without further ado, this is my best attempt at Leonardo da Vinci's daily routine. Oh God, here we go. Good morning, it is 10:35 a.m. I've spent most of this morning so far doing boring morning stuff that nobody cares about, but I am going to do some journaling now. So, as many of us know, Leonardo da Vinci would write backwards. I think it's kind of funny that nobody really knows why he did it. Some people think it was to keep his hand clean because he was left-handed, or to make it more difficult for other people to read what he was writing. Whatever the case, he wrote backwards, so I'm gonna write backwards. I am an idiot, so I had to look up how to do this because I don't know how to do this. I'm gonna do a couple of tests and see if I can get a hang of this. Jesus, how the S's are so difficult. Okay, the first attempt. Leonardo da Vinci seemed to be a huge proponent of journaling, which I think is fantastic. I've spoken about how important it is for me to get my ideas out of my brain and onto paper or onto some other medium. Doing this allowed his work to far outlast him. I mean, think about it. If he didn't write down his thoughts, then we wouldn't even know about it. I have spent like half an hour on this one damn sentence. Let's see how this looks in a mirror, but this is what it looks like.
I had to use this website where I could kind of type in my message and it would give it to me backwards. That's what I just copied down.
Oh my God, it's kind of creepy actually to look back at it like this, and it makes perfect sense and it looks normal-ish. I'm gonna do more journaling like this. Wow. I feel like another way I could journal is if I just write like this, but this is gonna be very complicated. Oh, this is harder. Oh no. Okay, that's worse. That is considerably worse. All right, so let's talk for a second about what my schedule is gonna look like. My focus here is to be as productive creatively as possible. It seemed like art was a huge motivator for Leonardo da Vinci. So beyond my periodic naps, I'm going to be spending as much of the rest of my time as possible video editing, writing, reading, and painting. I'm gonna pretend I'm working on masterpieces and that fart jokes don't still make me laugh. All right, it is time for my first nap. I'm not much of a napper, so we'll have to see how this goes. This schedule just makes me laugh. I just feel like I'm 3 years old again. 20 minutes is super quick. I'm gonna have to learn how to fall asleep super fast to just make it happen and take advantage of that time. Otherwise, you just miss those 20 minutes, you know? It takes me a while to fall asleep. So there is definitely a community of people out there that do this. I was doing some research on the adaptation period that is required to kind of incorporate this into your life, and it's pretty intense. I was I feel like starting to fall asleep when the alarm went off, or maybe I slept for 5 or 10 minutes. I actually feel good. It was kind of rejuvenating. Yeah. I read that it can take weeks to fully adapt and that you have to pass through this kind of zombie phase where your cognitive ability is just not optimal. Okay, I was not able to fall asleep this time, but it was still good to lie down for a bit, and I guess now it's back to work. Not only that, but it seems like the success of a system like this is very much based on being super strict and consistent with it. I'm feeling a little bit drowsy right now, so hopefully this nap will be the boost that I need to keep things going. I couldn't fall asleep. A schedule that you create for yourself has to fit around the things that are most important to you, the things that you want to focus on. I mean, that's the whole point, right? And it's easy to get carried away by obligations or other things people impose on you. And I think that's how many of us end up with kind of a schedule or a routine or a lifestyle that doesn't actually fit us. Each time I go to bed and then get back up, I'm a little bit more disoriented. It's kind of like dunking your consciousness in and out of water. I will say I am seeing the benefits of lying down for a little bit. It feels like it contributes to a bit of a boost of energy and creativity right afterwards, but I'm a little bit afraid that this is going to lead to diminishing returns. I got really hungry, so I'm eating a spinach frittata. How did we end up at this point? My ability to get any meaningful work done, and more than anything, stay focused, has greatly decreased over the last few hours. So I'm gonna switch tack and I'm gonna paint. He's pretty well known for doing that. So a few days ago, I bought some art materials and I got a lot of time on my hands, so that's what I'm gonna do now. So I wanted to paint a photo that I took while I was in Florence. It's not anything special really, but I like it. Florence is in a region of Italy called Tuscany, which is where Da Vinci is from. That's also where the Italian language is originally from. Although, fun fact, the accent from there is very strange. They don't pronounce C's. So Coca-Cola is Coca-Cola, basically, with the local accent over there. Not like you needed to know that, but I felt like sharing. And look, you're choosing to be here with me at this odd hour of the day. Let's get cracking. If you set aside how bizarre it would be to actually live like this, it was kind of cool to have all this extra time to work. Then the sun came up and I realized it comes at a cost. When I'm really tired, random stuff starts sounding a lot funnier, dude. I'll give you an example. The human foot is a masterpiece of engineering and a work of art. Leonardo da Vinci, genius, with a thing for feet. I'm feeling pretty brain dead right now, and just in general super scattered. Usually I have a lot of motivation to do stuff and I'm not feeling any of it right now. I figured I'd go to the supermarket, get a few groceries, get out of the apartment for a little bit. My ability to speak Italian right now is at like a 1.5 out of 10.
I had just such a jumble of words come out of my mouth when I was at the register trying to pay. I just feel sleep deprived, and honestly, that's exactly what's happening. I mean, the naps are not doing much. Who would want to live like this? Honestly, this is the opposite of productive. This doesn't make any sense. 15 minutes ago, I felt like crap, but I threw on a Mr. Bean movie, and now all of a sudden I feel all this motivation to paint. So I'm on this sort of weird emotional roller coaster right now, okay?
It was becoming very apparent to me that I was no longer capable of any sort of high quality or deep work whatsoever. And so as night approached once again, I decided to bring things to a close. I'm not sure what Leonardo would say. My man Leo. Woo! In total, I did this schedule for about 36 hours, 2 days. I would have liked to keep going, and I think I could have kept going, but at what cost? It's been a week, so I've had some time to kind of reflect on things, and I look back on those days that I dedicated to doing this as a little bit emotionally turbulent. And I read some of the stuff that I wrote, and it just doesn't feel like it was written with clarity, If anything, this gave me a lot of appreciation for my very boring, very normal sleep schedule. I slept like a rock for at least 10 hours and woke up a new man, just enthusiastic and positive, and basically just myself again. It felt like I was able to glimpse the value that Da Vinci placed on time. His approach doesn't quite work for me, but I did see the power of napping and how useful a tool it can be for if you're going through kind of a dip in energy. By the way, here is where I'm at with the painting I was working on. It's not quite done yet. If you want to see the final result, I might post it on Instagram. Like I said at the beginning of this video, I think many of us idolize famous or powerful people either now or from throughout history. And that's fine. I think there's a lot we can all learn from these people. But no matter how hard you try, you'll just never get the same results because inevitably the circumstances are different. The cultural context, your access to resources, even things like your physiology. Basically, what I'm trying to say here is that it's a beautiful thing to be curious and experiment with things, but just don't force it. Okay, his sleep schedule doesn't work for me, but there's so many other things that we can all learn from this genius. I guess I'm advocating for cherry picking, figuring out what works for you. He said learning never exhausts the mind, and I absolutely love this mindset. I think that it's just true. I think learning things has given me so much energy. Let's not forget that the internet and everything that it has to offer didn't exist in his day. I think. I'm happy to thank Skillshare for sponsoring this video and this channel and giving me the opportunity to do very strange experiments like this one. I really like them as a company. They offer tens of thousands of courses on a wide range of different topics, and the Skillshare originals are really, really well made. There's a link in the description below to get a 2-month free trial to any of those classes, and if you decide to go beyond that trial, it costs less than $10 a month. There are a few classes that I specifically wanted to mention that I personally enjoyed, and I'll link to them down below as well. I like this class on developing skills in a pretty general sense. I feel like there's value here for literally anybody, and also this class on creative writing or journaling, and this one on drawing if you're looking for an alternative to journaling. So yeah, consider using the link in the description below. Anyway, I'm thinking of making this into kind of like a little series, so let me know if you'd like to see more of this kind of video. And yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.